A few weeks ago, I heard for the first time that there are degrees that one can get in college related to marginalized communities. I didn't fully understand what this entailed, but I had many interesting questions, not least of which was, how does one define a marginalized community? Poverty is an issue that grips the world, and human governments establish various programs that they argue will help eradicate it. But human government has much of a chance of ridding the world of poverty as it does of ridding it of crime. The reason that both of these are true is because we cannot change human beings. Now, of course, many people, both inside and outside of the church, believe that one of the many purposes of the church is to solve the issues that plague those who are in the grips of poverty. Whether it is through shelters, thrift stores, soup kitchens, or other various social programs, the church executes its supposed mission of overcoming the evils of poverty with goodness. This, it is argued, exemplifies Christian charity, which is love. What I find interesting in these discussions or explanations of Christian duty is the lack of a theology of poverty. You see, not only does the Bible encourage certain types of social intervention for the poor, it also teaches about poverty, its implications, and even sin's role in some of its manifestation. When we examine God's word, God identified in the law that the poor were not to be treated in an ill manner. We should note that neither here or anywhere else within the law does God set out to eradicate poverty. In our text today, God assumes the existence of the poor in his divinely designed Jewish culture, and he makes it clear that they are not to be ill-treated. Why was there no attempt at the social great society as was attempted here in the United States? Because these human solutions ignore the sovereignty of God, the sinfulness of man's heart, and the foolishness of humankind. In other words, there is no theology of poverty behind any of these systems. Part of the theology is expressed in the law. Here are just some things for you to consider. The poor must not be taken advantage of or mistreated. We see this in Exodus chapter 22, verses 21 through 27. The poor should be provided for in such a way that it requires their own productivity and not in such a way that excludes it, such as gleaning. Poverty that is linked to immoral behavior, laziness, or foolishness should not be viewed in the same manner as poverty that comes as a result of being a widow or an orphan, but as a consequence of that lifestyle. We see this in Proverbs chapter 7, verses 1 through 27, and Proverbs 24, verses 30 through 34. Until God's kingdom comes, poverty will be a constant defining characteristic of human society. It will always exist. Jesus tells us this in Mark chapter 14, verse 7. These and many other biblical teachings must be brought together to have a truly Christian perspective on poverty. Ignorant compassion should not be what defines Christian actions in the world. Today's Theology Moment is brought to you by Rivers of Living Water, a private Facebook devotional group under the pulpit ministry of Roger Skeppel Sr. You can find this and other golden nuggets of wisdom every weekday morning. Visit facebook.com/Rivers of Living Water to join today. You won't be disappointed.